Alright, the tools you'll need are a 19mm socket for the wheels and an impact to get them off. If you don't have an impact, you can use a breaker bar just fine. This vehicle takes the 75W140 oil. I personally only use liquid moly. They also sell this hand pump, which will make it super easy to get fluid back into the transfer case. You'll also need a little suction gun. These are pretty cheap at AutoZone and parts stores. I got this one off of Summit Racing. And you will also need about 2 feet, I'd say maybe a little bit longer, worth of extensions, because the way you're going to be doing it is going through the wheel well. And the transfer case is at the center of the vehicle, so you got a lot of distance to travel. Alright, so once you get the wheel off, I also took my fender liner off just to make things a little bit easier. It shouldn't be necessary, but it'll definitely make your life less hell. If you want, you can also turn the wheel fully to the left. That'll give you a little bit more space, but it's not really necessary. So once you're down here, see the little square hole, that's your drain plug, or your fill plug rather. And the way you get there, you'll see this oxygen sensor. It is literally right behind that. And that oxygen sensor is right above your tie rod. So as long as you look past that oxygen sensor, you'll see it pretty easily. Alright, so once you've spotted that bolt, you're going to get your super long extension and just place it right above the tie rod here, where the sway bar kind of peaks. Just kind of shove it all the way through, and you should be able to line it up. And once you get it hooked on there, all you're going to do is twist it to loosen it. Alright, so now we're under the car. To spot the transfer case, I would just follow the axle, which is right behind the oil pan. Like, this is your oil drain plug. You follow the axle, that's your transfer case, and you should be able to see the drain plug, the orange, right up there. I loosened it basically all the way till it's about to start draining. Once you're here, you should be able to just undo it by hand, take the plug out, and you'll definitely need to clean it up before putting everything back in. But now we'll start using the suction gun. Alright, so I have my suction gun in the fill plug, and from here you're just going to want to suck up as much fluid as possible, making sure your pipe here goes in as deep as possible. And the Ford service manual says to put the vehicle in neutral and rotate the wheels 3 times, like once it's empty, and I'll leave a link to that in the description just in case I'm wrong. But that's just to circulate the fluid so it doesn't accumulate at the bottom of the case. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and suck this up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, I've sucked out as much oil as I could, so now we're going to go on to filling. So, like I said, I'll be using this liquid moly hand pump with 75W140 oil. Alright, you can see my hand pumps in there, and we just have to pump until that hole starts leaking oil. Alright, you can see there we're now leaking oil. So now all we have to do is remove our nozzle here. Alright, we got the nozzle out. Now it's time to place back the nut. Now you should clean this up entirely, and I'm pretty sure you need to re-put silicone, but my transfer case is already 160,000 miles old. It's probably on its way out, so I'm not too concerned really. But I'll go ahead and put this in, and we'll move on to the next step. Alright, I've got as tight as I could with my finger, and we'll move back to the wheel well with our extensions. Alright, so we have our Extensions again. Once again, we're just going to shove our extensions right above the tie rod, and we're going to tighten that to 20 foot-pounds, I believe. I'll put it up on screen what the correct number is from the Ford service manual, and once again, that's linked in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. Alright, once everything's all put back together, at least relative to the transfer case, we can go ahead and clean it up. I would recommend cleaning anything that drips off the exhaust pretty well, or else you're going to be getting a really nasty smell. And I'll be using brake cleaner. If you are using this, I do recommend using some sort of mask or like respirator. This stuff is not good to breathe in. It causes long-term like nerve damage and brain damage, but you know, here for a good time, not a long time.